On this episode of the Layover Live, Shanda stops by to talk social media marketing.
What are you doing?
Just working on my social media calendar.
You know you can do that online, right?
No. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 78 of the Layover Live, where we bring you the top article from the Layover each week. I'm Jason Swick, VP of Digital Marketing, joined by social media strategist Shanda Maloney. So Shanda, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You don't like my social calendar very much, huh?
No,
Yeah,
it's
well,
super old school.
It's real old school.
I thought you were going to bust out a chisel.
Yes. I was one step away from that. But today we're going to talk a little bit about social media. So glad you're stopping by. It comes from Social Chefs this week, which is our article of the week, where we talk about how to put together a content calendar, more so for social media rather than just content marketing. But it plays a really, really important piece of that overall content marketing strategy, right? Because as we're thinking about content, as we're growing content, as social media channels have grown, so has the opportunity to be able to deliver the message in those channels.
Absolutely.
And as we think about those things, we know we need to be organized, and having a social media calendar really allows us, one, to be able to make sure that we are planning our content in line with our goals. It also is a great way to foster ideas and things of that nature. So what I want to talk first, Shanda, to you about and really get your opinion on is what's the importance of creating a content calendar then for social media? Because when we think about these things, we think about them in the content creation world, but we don't think about them in social media. So what's really the importance of creating that content calendar then for social?
Sure. You definitely want to create consistency with your audience. So being able to plan out your week, your month, your year in advance, at least to have an idea of like big milestone events that are happening.
Right.
That's always really helpful. And you're also looking for ways on how you can support other departments or other campaigns or events happening in your destination.
Right.
And then you can use products like Stackla, for example, that you can pull in UGC specifically around that type of content, and also being able to incorporate that into the blog. So there's kind of like a 360 approach on that.
Yeah, and I think it's a good way to look at it, like not just looking at it as one spoke of the wheel, but how that social media calendar fits into the whole wheel. So as we start to put this together, we start to map this out, then how do you determine then, or how can DMOs out there determine what the right content is?
Yeah, that's always a really good question. And I think people forget to take the step of doing some analysis and trying to understand your audience by the platform. So you don't want to make the assumption that all the content goes everywhere. You're just gonna, spray and pray.
Right.
If you're going to publish across multiple channels, you want to at least, at the very, very least, make sure that you're customizing that by each platform, whether it be, the specs and size or shooting vertical versus horizontal, things of that nature. But you really want to review your analytics and making sure that you're delivering content that your audience is consuming on that platform, and then kind of use that as your baseline.
Okay. So as we start to do that, then we start to put that together. Then we start to think about running these campaigns, right, and content across the different networks and the different platforms. So what's the best way then for a DMO to publish content around the same campaign across multiple social networks?
Sure, that's a really great question. One of the things that I like to do is I like to find ways to kind of thread my content across multiple platforms. So let's say, for example, you have an overarching campaign, but you can put a little bit of a teaser on Instagram, and then you can lead Instagram to say, hey, watch the full video on YouTube. YouTube could say, hey, watch behind the scenes on Facebook, and Facebook leads you to something else like a live Q&A on Instagram stories or something like that. So there's a way to kind of take one whole campaign and being able to slice and dice that and have unique content on each platform.
Yeah, kind of cross-pollinating and complementing each other that way.
Absolutely.
That's really
And it's a great way to, kind of, again, plan that out on your calendar so that you know what pieces need to go where, so that you're publishing content at the right time, and you didn't say, go watch behind the scenes on Facebook and you haven't published,
Correct.
So you need to know what you're doing.
Yeah, and it actually brings up a good point too, because if we think about publishing all this content, we're having to do it at a much larger scale now. So if we don't have a way to get organized and don't have a way to map these different flows out, we can run into situations like that, right, where we're sending somebody to a piece of content that maybe doesn't exist, or it's not the right step in that flow. So that brings up a good point. So
Absolutely.
then, okay, so if we want to get started then, putting a content together, what's a quick and easy way for someone to get started putting together a content calendar?
Yeah, start with the big things. Take the big things and start there. Start filling in all of your like holidays, your Christmas. Make sure that you have all that content queued up for, Memorial Day, passed just recently, Father's Day. And then you can start backfilling in with some fun stuff. Like we just had National Donut Day, I think June 7th, I think it was. So like from a DMO perspective, you could talk about like, you could have a blog, you could be working with your content team talking about what are the best donut places in Tucson, for example, and then we could have content on social that's talking about, hey, it's National Donut Day, check out our blog on xyz.com, and you're syncing all that stuff together, and you're also working with your internal teams, which makes you a team player.
Which is always good, right? So again, starting with the big content,
Yeah.
work your way backwards from there. It's
Yeah.
great advice. So
Yeah.
again, thanks for stopping by this week.
Absolutely.
Really good stuff. Again, as you're thinking about your content marketing strategy, not just thinking about the copy and the things that we need to create for campaigns and landing pages and content on your website, you got to incorporate social media into that mix.
Absolutely.
If you're not, you're really behind. So thanks for stopping by, Shannon.
Of course.
Thanks for tuning in each and every week. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so now. We love those questions and comments as well, so please submit those. Thank you again. We'll see you next time, and have a great day.